fluffy. Oh boy, does this look good on camera? No, it doesn't. Very, very nice. That's not. That just looks like a blur on the video. What's going on? Minecraft drinking noise. YouTube has more hey guyses than a scarecrow convention, so I say what's good, home skillets, it's PDB. I was gonna record a song today, but it is too damn hot for that. Anyways, today's video is gonna be a good old-fashioned cartoon analysis video essay because it's always easier to react to existing content than create original content. The gist of it was that Danny Phantom is a Christ allegory. He's got dual natures, both man and spirit. He transforms surrounded by glowing halos and exorcises demons from people and sends them back to hell. The people hate him and then love him, and then he saves the world by proselytizing to all mankind. Also, his name is 5 letters and then 6 letters, and his parents' names start with J and M, and it would make sense to look at this show through this lens because Butch seems Christian enough to do something like this, but that really tells you all I've had on the idea, which I've been thinking about since late 2017 or so. That is not enough to stretch out into 10.1 minutes of content for that 4x mid-roll ad money. Maybe someone less scrupulous than me can do it. Hey, free video idea, come get it. I broke the story. I don't see anyone else saying Danny Phantom is Jesus. Be the first to the post after me, hey? The truth is, I'm really not the type of person to make one of those cartoon analysis video essays. It's just not my style of content, at least not right now. They always take so long to get to the point, if you dig me. Speaking of which, so today's video is just a brief update on how things are going. I'm doing pretty well, things are going slow, but hopefully steady. You know, I never feel like I'm on top of my work. Maybe I've learned to tell myself I'm constantly behind to stress myself into a high enough gear to actually get the work done at the proper pace, but I still struggle with deadlines. It's an eternal battle. I'm not going too stir-crazy though. Father's Day was great, it was nice to hang out with my family, swimming, barbecue, togetherness, the simple pleasures. So what's ahead for PDB? Well, the save points work in Neo Virginia RPG. They're fully functional, just by talking to this snake right here. The save file browser works too. You can go up and load a file and you're right there. This part looks really cool with 3D glasses on. Well, clearly still needs some ironing out. Anyways, the directional shading looks fantastic and adds a lot of depth to the sprites, though these are the only sprites I have right now. I ended up using an invisible cylinder behind the party members to cast the oblique shadows, while the sprite itself casts the normal shadows. As you can see, I have 8-fold directionality for each sprite. For each character so far, yeah. Because I like the diagonal movement, yeah. What I would really like to do is figure out if I can find a way to take the angle of a ray of light from the directional light object, whether that's the sun or the moon, and deflect it based on the value of a pixel on the normal map of a sprite, so as to change where that pixel's shadow lands on the ground, and thereby use the normal map to simulate a 3D object casting a 2D shadow instead of a 2D object casting a 2D shadow. I've been fussing over lighting and shadow for long enough that it's time to focus on other, more mechanical features. On that note, the first combat tutorial is in place. It's triggered by an invisible barrier. It's very bare bones, but the parts that need to be fleshed out are relatively aesthetical. It changes the music, it prompts you to fight, it just needs limits and tweaks, because currently you can attack before you're actually prompted to attack. So having the other party members properly path behind the player character worked kind of okay in an earlier build, but I've disabled it in these latest builds because it led to collision errors and physics drift. Keep in mind this is all very pre-alpha, but I don't want the characters, when they bump into each other, to suddenly start sliding off to the west due to the Coriolis force or something. I'd love to find a method of moving these objects around and detecting collisions that doesn't rely on Unity's physics system or the rigid body components in the slightest. I'm haunted by the notion of building my own engine to meet my needs specifically, but sunk cost fallacy once again rears its ugly head, and I'm not prepared to turn this car around for it. I'd also like to centralize the detection of player control input. That would probably make it easier to check for input conflict and contextual functionality, like what the directional arrows do depending on whether you have the menu open or closed. And based on all the recent videos analyzing Yandir devs code, I've been strongly motivated to reduce how much code runs in the update function on many of the key scripts, which has resulted in noticeable performance improvements. The TF2 source code leak analysis videos have been very helpful too. Far more coding should be taught by example like this. It's crazy to me how so many issues in game development, so many features are essentially solved in the mathematical sense, that for a given feature in a game, there often exists one solution that is optimal, but so much of it is locked away behind proprietary licensing. It seems so stupid to me that so many game devs have to basically reinvent the wheel every single time they want to add a feature that some other game has executed flawlessly. It really is kind of dumb. I don't know if an equivalent exists in other industries. It doesn't apply to books because the story is the source code. And I don't see how it would apply to a movie because that's a script with some actors carrying it out. And if it's applied to effects, all the most famous practical effects are the ones the special effects coordinator is proud enough to talk about. And the rest is just CGI, which is just a more complex form of animation. Like, there's never been a truly live-action Transformers movie, you get me? It's plausible to suggest that Avengers Endgame has got more animated content as a function of total runtime than Space Jam or Who Framed Roger Rabbit does. In fact, that's almost certainly true. Also, my computer stopped having that weird BSOD once a freaking day. I think it was ultimately a thermal issue. My brother has expressed an interest in making a Metroidvania game with me, so that might be a cool way to teach him game development with Unity and C# while also making some kind of small prequel to New Virginia RPG, maybe. He's already familiar with Python, if I recall correctly, so I'm sure he knows the core of a programmer mindset. The graphics are going to be dead-ass simple, so we don't have to worry about graphics. This is time permitting on his part, of course, though, since he's a very busy man. I'm very proud of him. I think that covers most of what's been on my mind, so subscribe if you're new, give it a thumbs up and tons of commentary. I'm a chatterbox, I love to talk. I'm PDB, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay beautiful.